Shri Rajalakshmi Prakashan published. A textbook on fundamentals of agronomy 1. Authors: Dr. D. N. Jagtap, Dr. P. B. Pawar, Dr. U. V. Mahadkar. Chapter 5th. Methods of sowing seed and sowing implements. Sowing. Sowing is the placing of a specific quantity of seeds in the soil for germination and growth, while planting is the placing of plant propagules, may be seedlings, cuttings, rhizomes, clones, tubers, etc., in the soil to grow as plants. Sowing methods: 1. Broadcasting. 2. Dibbling. 3. Sowing behind the country plow, manual and mechanical drilling. 4. Seed drilling. 5. Planting. 6. Nursery transplanting. Point 1. Broadcasting. Broadcasting is also known as random sowing. Literally means scattering the seeds. Broadcasting is done for many crops. Broadcasting is mostly followed for small-sized to medium-sized crops. This is the largest method of sowing followed in India, since it is the easiest and cheapest and requires minimum labors. To have optimum plant population in unit area, certain rules should be followed. Only a skilled person should broadcast the seeds for uniform scattering. The plowed field should be in a perfect condition to trigger germination. The seeds are broadcasted in a narrow strip, and the sowing is completed strip by strip. To ensure a good and uniform population, it is better to broadcast on either direction. This is called crisscross sowing. If the seed is too small, it is mixed with sand to make a bulky one and for easy handling. Example: sesame seeds are mixed with sand at 1:15 or 1:10 ratio and sown. In certain cases, the person sowing will be beating the seeds against the basket for uniform scattering. Example: sorghum pearl millet. After broadcasting, the seeds are covered gently either using a country plow with a very shallow plowing or some wooden planks, boards, levelers are used to cover the surface. In some cases, tree twigs or shrub branches are used. If the seeds are large, levelers collect the seeds and leave in the other side. Combed harrow is the best used one. Disadvantages: 100% germination is not possible because all broadcasted seeds not covered properly. Seed rate is not sufficient. Enhanced seed rate required. Seeds cannot be placed at desired depth. Lodging, falling down, is common in broadcasting. Point 2. Dibbling. This is actually line sowing. Inserting a seed through a hole at a desired depth and covering the hole. Dibbling is practiced on plain surface and ridges and furrows or beds and channels. This type of sowing is practiced only under suitable soil condition. Rice fallow cotton is dibbled on a plain surface. The seeds are dibbled at 2-3 rd from top or 1-3 rd at bottom of the ridge. Before sowing, furrows are opened and fertilizers are applied above which seeds are sown. The seeds do not have contact with the fertilizers. This is done for wider spaced crops and medium to large sized seeds. Example: sorghum, madge, sunflower, cotton are dibbled on ridges and furrows. Both beds and channels and ridges and furrows come under line sowing. While earthing up, the plant occupies middle of the ridge. Earthing up is essential for proper anchorage of the root system. Advantages of ridges and furrows: uniform population, better germination, reduced seed rate. Dibbling, line sowing. Point 1. Costlier, broadcasting, random sowing. Point 1. Cheaper, dibbling, line sowing. Point 2. Takes considerable time, broadcasting, random sowing. Point 2. Quickest and time-saving, dibbling, line sowing. Point 3. Fixed seed rate, broadcasting, random sowing. Point 3. Higher seed rate. Dibbling, line sowing. Point 4. Mechanization is possible. Example: weeding, harvesting, broadcasting, random sowing. Point 4. Not possible. Dibbling, line sowing. Point 5. Uniform utilization of resources, land, water, light, nutrient, etc. Broadcasting, random sowing. Point 5. Resource utilization is ununiform. Point 3. Sowing behind the plow. Sowing behind the plow is done by manual or mechanical means. Seeds are dropped in the furrows opened by the plow, and the same is closed or covered when the next furrow is opened. The seeds are sown at uniform distance. Manual method is a laborious and time-consuming process. Seeds like red gram, cowpea and groundnut are sown behind the country plow. Major sown crop is groundnut. Seeds are sown by mechanical means by Gorus seed drill. A seed drill has a plowshare and hopper. Seeds are placed on hopper. Different types of seed drill are available. Example: simple Goru Gantakas. Advantages: the seeds are placed at desired depth and covered by planking. Except very small, most of the seeds can be sown easily. Example: maj, groundnut, sunflower, etc. Point 4. Drill sowing or drilling. Drilling is the practice of dropping seeds in a definite depth covered with soil and compacted. In this method, sowing implements are used for placing the seeds into the soil. Both animal-drawn Gorus and power-operated seed drills implements are available. Seeds are drilled continuously or at regular intervals in rows. In this method, depth of sowing can be maintained and fertilizer can also be applied simultaneously. It is possible to take up sowing of intercrops also. It requires more time, energy and cost, but maintains uniform population per unit area. Seeds are placed at uniform depth, covered and compacted. Point 5. Planting, placing seeds or seed material firmly in the soil to grow. Point 6. Transplanting. This method of planting has two components: A. Nursery and B. Transplanting. In nursery, young seedlings are protected more effectively in a short period and in a smaller area. Management is easy and economical. Advantages: can ensure optimum plant population. Sowing duration of main field, that is, management in the main field, is reduced. Crop intensification is possible under transplanting. Disadvantages: nursery raising is expensive. Transplanting is laborious and expensive method as compared to drilling and dibbling. Age of seedlings is 1/4 of the total duration of the crop. If the total duration is 16 weeks, 4-week period, 1 month is under nursery beds. Nursery age is not very rigid. Example: thumb rule, 3 months crop, nursery duration 3 weeks, minimum 4 months, 4 weeks minimum period, 5 months, 5 weeks. After the nursery period, seedlings are pulled out and transplanted. This is done on the main field after thorough field preparation or optimum tilth. The seedlings are dibbled in lines or in random. Closer spaced crops are mostly raised in random method even after nursery. Example: rice and finger millet. For vegetables, desired spacing is required during transplanting. Transplanting shock is a period after transplanting. The seedlings show no growth. This is mostly due to the change in the environment between root and the soil. The newly planted seedlings should adjust with new environment. It is for a period of 5 to 7 days depending upon season, crop, variety, etc. At higher temperature, dehydration is possible and leaves dried out. Area required for nursery normally is 1/10th of the total area. Pre-monsoon sowing. Normally, sowing is taken up after receipt of sufficient amount of rainfall, 20 millimeters, in the case of dry land farming. Since sowing is continued for 2 or 3 days after a soaking rain, certain amount of moisture is lost during the period between the receipt of rainfall and sowing. In the case of heavy clay soils, black soils, sowing operation is difficult after the receipt of rain. To overcome this difficulty, sowing is taken up in dry soil prepared with summer rains 7 to 10 days before the anticipated receipt of sowing rains. The seeds germinate after the receipt of the rainfall. This method of sowing is known as dry sowing or pre-monsoon sowing. By this method, the entire rainfall received is efficiently utilized. Factors involved in sowing management. This can be classified into two broad groups. Point 1. Mechanical factors. Factors such as depth of sowing, emergence habit, seed size and weight, seed bed texture, seed-soil contact, seed bed fertility, soil moisture, etc. Point 1. Seed size and weight. Heavy and bold seeds produce vigorous seedlings. Application of fertilizer to bold seed tends to encourage the seedlings than the seedlings from small seeds. Point 2. Depth of sowing. Optimum depth of sowing ranges from 2.5 to 3 cm. Depth of sowing depends on seed size and availability of soil moisture. Deeper sowing delays field emergence and thus delays crop duration. Deeper sowing sometimes ensures crop survival under adverse weather and soil conditions, mostly in dry lands. Point 3. Emergence habit. Hypogeal seedlings may emerge from a relatively deeper layer than epigeal seedlings of similar seed size. Point 4. Seed bed texture. Soil texture should minimize crust formation and maximize aeration, which in turn influence the gases, temperature and water content of the soil. Very fine soil may not maintain adequate temperature and water holding capacity. Point 5. Seeds, soil contact. Seeds require close contact with soil particles to ensure that water can be absorbed readily. A tilled soil makes the contact easier. Forming the soil around the seed, broadcasted seeds, after sowing improves the soil-seed contact. Point 6. Seedbed fertility. Tillering crops like rice, ragi, bajra, etc. should be sown thinly on fertile soils and more densely on poor soils. Similarly, high seed rate is used on poor soil for non-tillering crops. Although higher the seed rate, greater the yield under conditions of low soil fertility. In some cases such as cotton, a lower seed rate gives better result than a higher seed rate. Point 7. Soil moisture. Excess moisture in soil retards germination and induce rotting and damping of disease except in swamp, deep water, rice. Adjustment in depth is made according to moisture conditions, that is, deeper sowing on dry soils and shallow sowing on wet soils. Sowing on ridges is usually recommended on poorly drained soils. Point 2. Biological factors. Factors like companion crops, competition for light, soil microorganisms, etc. Point 1. Companion crop. Companion crop is usually sown early to suppress weed growth and control soil erosion. In cassava plus maj yam cropping, cassava is planted later in yam or maj to minimize the effect of competition for light. In mixed cropping, all the crops are sown at the same time. Point 2. Competition of light. In mixed stands, optimum spacing for each crop minimizes the competition of light. Point 3. Soil microorganisms. The microorganisms present in the soil should favor seed germination and should not possess any harmful effect on seeds emerging seedlings. Sowing and planting equipment. Manually operated 6-row rice transplanter. It is a manually operated equipment suitable for transplanting of mat-type rice seedlings in rows in puddled soils. It consists of floats made of marine plywood, seedling tray, tray indexing mechanism and pickers for planting seedlings. When the operator pulls the machine and operates the handle, the picker, 6 in number, gathers 2 or 3 seedlings and places them in the puddled soil. The roturo distance can be maintained at 200 mm. It can cover 0.04 to 0.05 hectare and labor requirement is 40 to 50 man-hour hectare. It results in 5 to 10% increase in yield. It costs 4,500 rupees and cost of operation is 1,250 rupees per hectare as compared to 3,750 rupees per hectare with manual method. Animal Drawn Multi-Crop Planter. Animal Drawn 3-row planter is a multi-crop planter for planting of bold and small seeds. The planter is also suitable for sowing of intercrops as different seeds can be filled in different boxes. The planter consists of a frame with toolbar, modular seed boxes, furrow openers and ground wheel. It has 3 independent seed boxes with inclined plate-type seed metering mechanism. Seed plates for sowing different seeds can be selected and changed easily. The plate thickness, number and size of cells on seed plate vary according to seed size and desired plant-to-plant spacing. Shoe-type furrow openers ensure deeper seed placement in moist zone for sowing under dryland condition. Modular seed box furrow opener units are adjustable for sowing seeds at different roturo spacing. Drive to seed metering mechanism is transmitted from ground wheel through chain and sprockets. Ground wheel and power transmission system are fixed on the main frame. An optional fertilizer box with fluted roller type metering system can also be mounted on the main frame for application of granular fertilizers. Drive ratio between ground drive wheel and seed plate can be changed by selecting appropriate size of sprocket on wheel axle or on counter and main drive shafts. The labor requirement is 7 to 8 man-hour hectare. The cost of 3-row planter is 15,000 rupees. The cost of operation of the implement is 270 rupees to 360 hectare as compared to 550 rupees per hectare with traditional method. Power tiller operated till plant machine. It is suitable for sowing seeds of wheat, soybean, Bengal gram, sorghum etc. in medium and heavy soils. This machine has been designed for operation with a power tiller of 7.5 to 9.0 kW to carry out tilling and planting operations simultaneous in a single pass. It can plant 2 rows simultaneously. Some of its major components are main frame, seed and fertilizer boxes, metering mechanism, transport wheel, furrow openers, hitch system etc. It is provided with a pair of depth control gauge wheels, which also serve to activate the metering mechanism. The effective field capacity of equipment is 0.15 hectare-hour. It costs 15,000 rupees and its cost of operation is 950 rupees per hectare. Tractor-operated zero-till seed fertilizer drill. It has been developed to sow wheat directly in rice-harvested fields without preparing the seedbed. It is a 9-11-13 row unit consisting of fluted rollers for seed metering and agitators over adjustable openings for fertilizer metering. It is operated by 26 kW tractor and consists of tubular steel section frame, seed and fertilizer boxes, fluted roller metering mechanism for seeds, to depth control wheels for controlling the sowing depth, inverted T-type furrow openers made of medium carbon steel with high-speed steel tip in the front for opening narrow slits in untilled soil. Ground drive wheel having lugs on its circumference, and acts as a power source to drive the metering mechanism of the drill and power. Transmission system. The zero-till drill is operated in the field when the soil moisture is about 24 to 27% and the stubble height of previous harvested crop is not more than 150 to 200 millimeters. The field capacity of the machine is 0.3 to 0.4 hectare-hour with about 75% efficiency. Use of zero-till drill for direct sowing of wheat after rice was found to be advantageous in terms of 50 to 60% saving in time and 40 to 50% saving in cost of sowing as compared to the conventional practice of seedbed preparation and sowing with seed cum fertilizer drill. The cost of machine is Rs 35,000. The machine saves about 1,000 rupees to 1,500 hectare. Tractor-mounted raised bed planter. A bed former cum seeder has been developed for sowing wheat. The bed planter consists of a frame, planting hoppers, fertilizer box, furrow openers, bed saper and power transmitting wheel. The frame is made of mild steel sections. The furrow openers are rigid type and have mold board and shear point. The wingspan of the mold board can be adjusted. The shear is made of medium carbon steel or alloy steel, hardened and tempered to suitable hardness. The machine makes 2 beds. It can sow 2 or 3 rows of wheat on each bed. It has seed metering unit of vertical disc type. The draft requirement of the machine is reduced due to roller type bed saper. A planting attachment has also been made with the machine for sowing madge, groundnut, cotton etc. on the beds. The field capacity of machine is 0.26 hectare-hour. The approximate cost of equipment is 40,000 rupees. The cost of operation is about 4,500 rupees per hectare as compared to 3,400 rupees per hectare in conventional method. It saves about 20 to 30% water and 20% seeds. Tractor-operated inclined plate planter. Tractor-operated 6-row inclined plate planter is a multi-crop planter for planting of bold and small seeds and developed at CA, Bhopal and PAU, Ludhiana. The planter consists of a frame with toolbar, modular seed boxes, furrow openers and ground drive wheel system. It has 6 modular design seed boxes with independent inclined plate type seed metering mechanism. Seed plates for sowing different seeds can be selected and changed easily. The plate thickness, number and size of cells on seed plate vary according to seed size and desired plant-to-plant spacing. For operation, the seed is filled in the hopper. Seeds are picked up by the cells of inclined plate and delivered in the opening connected to furrow opener through seed tubes. Shoe-type furrow openers ensure deep seed placement in moist zone for sowing under dryland condition. Modular seed box furrow opener units are adjustable for sowing seeds at different row-to-row spacing. The plant-to-plant spacing can be varied by changing the transmission ratio. The drive-to-seed metering mechanism is transmitted from ground drive wheel through chain and sprockets. It can be adopted for sowing intercrop on broad beds. The field capacity of the equipment is 0.4 to hectare-hour with an effective width of coverage of 1.85 m. The approximate cost of the equipment is Rs 40,000. The cost of operation is 2,300 rupees per hectare as compared to 3,500 rupees per hectare by conventional method. Tractor-operated set cutter planter for sugarcane. It is a whole-stick sugarcane cutter planter and consists of rigid body attached to frame to create furrows, set cutting unit, fertilizer application unit, chemical application unit, set covering unit and seed box. The planter is PTO-driven and mounted from 3-point linkage system of a tractor. The cutting of the cane of 350 mm length is done automatically in the machine and sets are treated with insecticides at the cutting point. The sets are placed in the furrow created by rigor bodies with overlapping up to 30%. The pesticide is also sprayed at the ends of set in the furrows. The set placed in the furrow is covered immediately after the treatment. The furrow is closed and rows are leveled by the leveler provided in the machine. The field capacity of the machine is 0.20 hectare-hour. The approximate cost of equipment is Rs 50,000. The cost of operation of equipment is 2,800 rupees per hectare as compared to 4,300 rupees per hectare by traditional method. Tractor-operated multi-crop planter for seed spices. The sowing of seed spices is mainly done by broadcasting method or drilled in small plots at a spacing of 250 to 300 mm and depth of 10 to 15 mm. A 7-row multi-crop planter with individual hopper boxes with seed metering mechanism mounted on a common frame with fertilizer drilling attachment was developed at MPUAT, Udaipur. The seed metering mechanism of star wheel, plastic, was made of circular rotor of 90 mm diameter with 10 cells of 20 mm length. The height of seed dropping from hopper was kept at 400 mm to get the placement of seeds at a depth of 10 to 15 mm. The inverted T-type furrow opener of smaller size was fitted in the drill. The machine was tested for sowing of cumin, coriander and fenugreek at NRC on seed spices, Ajmer and farmers' fields in Jalore district of Rajasthan. The seed rate of 6.5 to 7.5, 12 to 15 and 9 to 10 kilograms per hectare was recorded for cumin, fenugreek and coriander, respectively. The field capacity of machine was 0.28 to 0.30 hectare-hour with depth of seed placement of 12 to 15 mm. Power tiller operated inclined plate planter. Power tiller operated 3-row inclined plate planter was designed and developed for sowing maize, soybean and pea crops in terraces and valley lands of NEH region. The power is transmitted from ground drive wheel to seed feed shaft through chain, sprockets and a set of bevel gears. The row-to-row spacing of the planter is adjustable, 130 to 280 mm, by sliding the furrow openers on toolbar. Different crops can be sown by changing seed plates and by changing the transmission ratio. The effective field capacity of equipment is 0.114 hectare-hour in hilly region. The cost of inclined plate planter is Rs 12,000 and cost of operation is 1,600 rupees per hectare. Tractor-operated pneumatic planter. Tractor-operated pneumatic planter has been developed at MPKV, Rahuri and is suitable for precision planting of single seed of crops like cotton, okra etc. at predetermined spacing. It consists of main frame, aspirator blower, disc with holes, metering plate, individual hopper, furrow openers and ground wheel. Seed coming in contact with rotating disc gets stuck to the holes on the plate through suction and falls when suction is cut off at the lowest position near the ground. The effective field capacity of the machine for planting okra is 0.29 ha-h with 85.22% field efficiency. There is saving in operating cost of 4,826 rupees per hectare as against traditional method for planting okra. The effective field capacity of the machine for cotton planting is 0.30 hectare-hour with 55.55% field efficiency. The saving in operating cost is 4,597 rupees per hectare as against traditional method for cotton planting. There is a saving of valuable seed and labor requirement as compared to traditional method as thinning operation is eliminated.
We politely request, please like, share and subscribe our channel Sri Raj Lakshmi Publication.